The rain continues another day here on the grass-fed homestead. Gotta feed the chickens first. I noticed for the first time they're not making a chirping noise anymore. They're making more of a clucking noise now. I got up a little bit earlier than usual this morning. I wanted to get an early start on filming for my instructional. Are you guys already done? I thought you were eating still. Oh man. Anyway, I was trying to get an early start on filming the instructional video course I'm putting together. The neighbors right across the road from us are installing a shop building, and they have construction crews here all day long with heavy machinery and hammering and all that noise, and it's really impacted my ability to, that's so funny. It's really hindered my ability to make a lot of progress on the video filming, so I thought I'd get up early this morning, we'll get it knocked out before the crews start. Of course, when I woke up, I heard it really heavy. Oh man. Oh, don't do that. Sheep shake themselves off just like dogs do when they're wet. Anyway, it was raining heavily this morning, so I abandoned the idea of getting an early start on filming. It's definitely let up now some, but it is still raining. Hey, I'm trying to film here. Can you give me a little space? You have plenty of room over there. If the forecast is correct though, today will be the last day of full rain like this. I think we've had like 6 days in a row now like this. So we are definitely ready for a break from the rain. Since it is still raining, I thought this would be a good opportunity to do something I've been putting off for a while. Render some leaf lard. I just need my cast iron Dutch oven, 1/4 cup of water, a strainer, a mason jar, and of course some leaf fat from a locally pastured hog, which I'll render into lard. There are 3 types of pig fat that render into lard: back fat, belly fat, and leaf. Leaf is the pristine fat found around the internal organs. If rendered properly, it is completely white and does not have a porky flavor. It can be used as the ultimate fat ingredient for pastry baking. We don't do pastries here on the grass-fed homestead, but there are dishes I like to make that I don't want to have the pork flavor I'd get from using bacon grease. I begin the process by thinly slicing the fat. If you have a meat grinder and don't mind cleaning it, it can save a lot of time using it here instead of using a chef's knife. The fat is sticky and just not pleasant to work with. After slicing, I go over it with the knife, trying to mince as finely as I can. The smaller the fat pieces, the more lard will render from it. I add 1/4 cup of water into my preheated Dutch oven on the lowest possible flame. The water prevents the fat from burning, but it will evaporate during the rendering process. The key to getting a pure lard is rendering low and slow. If the heat is too high, the lard will brown and have that pork flavor I'm trying to avoid. I'll leave it on the lowest flame setting and stir with frequency. About an hour and a half in, I start to notice the browning I didn't want. Here is the rendered lard. It definitely didn't come out the way I'd hoped.
In the past, I've used stainless steel saucepans with great results. This was my first attempt with cast iron. I suspect the heat retained in the cast iron caused the fat to render at a higher than ideal temperature. This will be just fine though, I have plenty of uses for this. It's time to transfer it into the mason jar to cool. I put my stainless steel strainer on top of the mason jar and ladle the lard into the jar. And there we go. This is what lard should look like in the jar as it's cooling. This is mine from a previous batch. This time, however, it came out looking like honey. You'll be left with a pot of leftover fat bits. Don't throw them away. You can fry them up as crackling or use them in other dishes.
If you just don't know what to do with these things, you can always give them to the birds. I have a little sample for you ladies.
In day 92, we made some chicken stock. And we stored it in regular old mason jars, just ball jars we got at the store. Actually, I think we upcycled a few of them. You may have noticed, though, that when we stored it, we did not put traditional lids on it. We actually put plastic lids on it because we weren't really canning anything, just using the jars for storage. But we are going to mix that amazing chicken broth with some delicious squash. We're going to pressure can the squash. But when we can it, we don't want any nasty plastic chemicals. We've been using WEC jars for many, many years. And the reason we really like these is, first of all, they're incredibly durable. We haven't ever had one break, which is really good. And there aren't any nasty plastic chemicals that will be exposed to our delicious, amazing squash. But if you have anything you want to can this fall, check out WEC jars. We've been very happy with them. We've had them for many years and love using them. So check it out if you want to avoid nasty plastic chemicals or formaldehyde. Also, not very good for you.